Smallness is still on their mind. Smallness is a good time. My neighbor had some little children. And when they sing on the dance, really admire them. Yes, they're singing. Ching, ching, ching. Poverty. Playing a bop. Poverty. See for mama. Poverty. Get 10 fat chickens. Poverty. And ask you for one. Poverty. And she won't give me one. Poverty. You see that girl? Poverty. Named Dorothy. Poverty. She fat like a butter. Poverty. And she muggle like a chow. Poverty. Oh, smallest is still on my mind. Smallest is a good time. Never had some little children. I'm gonna sing it and dance, that's really admire them. What they're singing? On your carpet, you must be like the roses. All you need, bright and shining. You must be, and show me the one. Love the best. When I marry, I give you the ring. First the girls, second the boys. Sunday, Monday, afternoon. We will spend our honeymoon. Oh, smallest is still on my mind. Smallest is a good time. Never had some little children. I'm gonna sing it on the dance floor, really admire them. Join the singing. Old man house on fire. The old man ran away. He ran for the police to get the water. He only fire down the escalator. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Escalator, shoot, shoot, shoot. And I wipes the lady face. The lady wipes the lady face. And she fell down, and she fell down, and she fell in the ocean too. Oh, smallness is still on my mind. Smallness is a good time. Neighbor had some little children. I'm really singing on the dance floor, really admire them. Hear them singing?
So, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
All right. Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Over to You, February 3rd. This is our fourth show of the year. I hope everybody's doing well. Hey, it's Saturday. You know, in the chat, some of you guys can tell me what you did today. You know, tell me what you got done, how productive today was for you. We have a few topics that we're gonna discuss this afternoon, and some of them very, very, very important, critical topics. We're gonna touch quickly on that whole debt ceiling issue. That's one of the hot issues out there right now, and it is so critical for Guyanese to understand what's happening when we talk about the debt ceiling and the borrowing. You know, because we're an oil producing nation, I would have expect that we would have been borrowing somewhat less. You know, and there's certain approaches, you know, that we take that is taken by government from a financial and from a management perspective of Guyana and its resources that needs to be conservative at times, not always aggressive, you know. And this PPPC government has shown that they are going to be really, really aggressive. They're not thinking about future generations. They're not thinking about the young people now coming up in Guyana. And, you know, young people, especially those who are getting to the age, even those who are not going to get to the age of 18, come election time in 2025 should be knowledgeable, of our domestic and international debt ceilings, which the PPP would have announced it's going to be $1.5 trillion. Again, 1.5 trillion domestic and international. So when you aggregate those two amounts, we are talking about $3 trillion. Now, that is extremely material. Yes, we might be the fastest growing economy, quote unquote, by the economists and these things. But it seems as if where the PPPC is going, they are trying to take loans against future revenue, against future expectations with our oil, especially oil. The focus of all these things seems to just be oil. We have a lot of different natural resources in Guyana. And I find that those other industries are not being addressed. And it's quite concerning that we're not addressing gold and diamond, bauxite, and all these different industries that we have. All the focus is on oil. And if the PPPC continues on this trajectory that they're on, and if they continue to sit in office, Guyana is going to end up just like Venezuela or worse. We have to be on our P's and Q's with these guys. It is mandatory that the PPPC is removed from office come 2025. These guys are making decisions for themselves. All the decisions are being made for today. There is nothing that is left for a bad day tomorrow. The natural resource accounts and all these accounts, they're trying to ground these accounts. They're trying to empty them. Right? And, we need to be cautious. We need to be very, very, very cautious. And when it comes to something like a debt ceiling, that's something that there should be bipartisan agreement on such a critical issue. And again, there is something very wrong with our politics in Guyana. There is something very, very, very wrong with our politics in Guyana. Because a debt ceiling of 1.5 trillion domestically and 1.5 trillion internationally, that decision was made solely by the PPPC. Now, there is a valid opposition in Guyana. Why isn't it inclusive when it comes to an issue of this nature? And it takes us back to the Venezuela issue. Now, that issue, they wanted to be all inclusive because they had no knowledge of how to deal with Venezuela. They had no solution how to deal with Venezuela. Hence, the installed president and the installed vice president flew out and went to Dubai when Guyana was under the gun by Venezuela. So these guys only want to be around and to make decisions when they can benefit from it. Right? And these decisions that they make solely that they can benefit from, they're not inclusive. Right? They're not inclusive. And it just comes back to show that, on the side of the PPPC in Parliament, we have a set of people who are not professional. They're very unprofessional. They are not suited for the portfolios that they hold. They are not accountable to the people of Guyana, and they are grossly mismanaging our resources. Let me just take a quick second to see what's going on in the comments, what you guys are talking about here. And if you guys want us to touch on anything quickly, I am supposed to be having a guest. Okay. Yes. All right. So I just got an update from my guests. There's blackout in the area, so that may not be possible this afternoon. But anyhow, we are proceeding on. Yes. This debt ceiling is a very, 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 very critical issue. We have to stay on top of it. We have to address it. This can really put a new government, to the extent there is one come 2025, really under the gun. And what I really want Guyanese to understand from this is that they need to think about what's happening now, because what's happening now is going to impact 2025 when there's a new government in place. I anticipate a new government in place in 2025. Okay? So we need to keep this in mind. Listen, when the PPPC is making these decisions, you would have expect these decisions to be made with the Guyanese people at heart. But that is obviously not the case. These decisions are reckless decisions. Now, we cannot go ahead and say that we are taking out loans against future oil revenue. And the coalition had what I thought was a very, very educational press conference earlier today. And MP Ms. Jurita Finance could not have said it any better, along with the economic advisor to the party, Mr. Elson Lowe. The PPPC intention is to borrow against future oil revenue. Now, remember, when we talk about oil revenue in the future, okay, we're not talking about real numbers. We are talking about estimated numbers. Okay? And those numbers can be affected by a lot of things. The oil market can become volatile. The US can plunge into a recession. Whenever the US plunges into a recession, it affects the entire world. Right? It's not just a US thing, it's a world thing. US is one of the largest economies in the world, if not the largest. I think they should be the largest economy in the world. Right? We have to be careful of these things. The decision here that the PPPC would have made is reckless, and can be very, very, very damaging to the future of young upcoming Guyanese, because when you have to pay these massive amounts in interest and you have this massive amount of debt outstanding, it just puts you under tremendous pressure. You don't get to see normal development in the country because there's always a fight to be able, to meet your bills and to pay your bills. So this is something that the young people need to understand. And, moving forward, to the extent they can vote, they need to vote accordingly so that we can reverse these decisions that this PPPC install regime is making. Now, on to the install president and his visit to Ghana to receive some award. I guess, the presenters of that award is ignorant to what's happening in Guyana under the Irfan Ali led install PPPC regime. They needed to be informed before making such a decision to give an award to this dictator. This guy is very rough at the edges. He said he has women and children at heart. Mr. Ali, if you had women and children at heart, you would have been down in the success area yesterday to meet and greet that mother of 6 that is expected to be bulldozed sometime today. I haven't gotten an update on that, so I don't know if, the people has been removed or not. As you so care about women and children, and this is not a situation where you go and you stand up and you point out a person, build a house for that person. Nah, we're not talking about that. We have a lot of Guyanese living in poverty. We don't build one house. We need to build thousands of houses. And also where people would have squatted, they would have developed that area. They need to be allowed to occupy that area. Aren't we all supposed to be Guyanese here? Aren't we all eligible for a piece of land or something in our own country? Remember when Venezuela was planning to annex Essequibo? Remember what you guys said? Every Guyanese must be prepared to defend. Defend what? Defend what when you can't get a piece of land in your own country that you was born and bred in? When you have an installed dictatorship government dictating to you whether you're going to have land or not. Heard Mark was talking earlier or yesterday about Mr. Dennis Atwell, who would have applied for land, I think, 18 years ago, and still can't get a piece of land. That young lady in in Success would have applied in 2002. That's like some 23 plus years ago. And she's still without a house lot. So, housing ministry, Colin Crowell and you guys, I don't know how you guys can go to sleep at night, fully and well knowing what you're doing to the normal everyday Guyanese, who cannot afford certain basic amenities. It is sad watching you guys operate this don't care ship. Minister of Labor Joe Hamilton, you guys, y'all talk about jobs and 50,000 jobs y'all had up as part of your mandate to the people of Guyana. You never said part-time. You never said part-time jobs. Where are the jobs? Where are the government jobs? Government should be kicking right now. This is the oil-producing nation. Government should be kicking. Government should be looking to hire people. Where are the government jobs? Reconcile. Look, I'm just going through these comments, which are very, very, very valid comments. They are very, very valid comments. When you go through when you walk through Guyana, you see some of the big, tall structures in Guyana, and you ask who own it. Is either somebody directly in government or people who are linked to the government. Come on. You guys think that Guyanese are stupid. I mean, you guys may have blocked free university education, you know, for what? Probably going on 3 decades. I don't know. But the Guyanese people are still here. They haven't gone anywhere. They're still here. And you know what? Guyana still belongs to them. So this installed PPPC government, you understand me? I don't know, what their next move is going to be. And yes, thank you, my brother, Mr. Gavin Caesar, just reminded me about the teachers' strike on Monday. Listen, you don't want teachers to strike. But given what our teachers in Guyana are currently facing, there is a need for a strike action. And how complicit this PPPC government is. They want to negotiate directly with the teachers. Why do you think there is a GTU? To bargain on behalf of the teacher, to do the collective bargaining on behalf of the teachers. PPPC, you will not eliminate our unions in Guyana. Unions are needed. You guys are corrupt. You guys want to do everything under the table. You understand me? But the people of Guyana stand for some level of decency. And we will not allow the PPPC to negotiate directly with the teachers. I know some teachers went over the wall and say that, oh yes, they agreed to this. And guys, be educated. Stick to the classroom. Follow your union leaders. Okay? There's a reason why they are called union leaders. There's a reason for you having a union. I shouldn't have to educate teachers on this. But when you see some teachers going off and trying to speak with the government, come on. That's moving away from being a collective. When you want things to be done and done properly, when you have an issue like this where teachers are underpaid, they're not properly recognized, they're not given that treatment that educators should be given. You need to come together as a collective, rally behind your union and get those changes done. Get a deal that is favorable across the board for all teachers. All right, the only way this happens is if you operate as a collective. And don't worry, Barry Jag, you're throwing money. Don't worry that nonsense. Stop. It's a one-time thing. You got to be knowledgeable. Somebody just can't give you, here's this, take this, and shut up. You got to think long term. You got to think long term. Think about all the young people who are going to be joining the teaching fraternity in years to come. Think about them. Here's an opportunity for you right now to have an impact. On what they can expect when they join the teaching fraternity. We have to be smart. And to the extent other unions can come out on Monday and, launch a protest with these teachers. They should. Even private sector workers. Because you know what? Those same teachers are who act as that second and third parent teaching your children on a daily basis. So you're doing something that makes absolute sense when you go out and support our teachers. So I expect the teachers, to do their striking on Monday. And it would be in the best interest of the PPPC to move and get a proper deal done for these teachers. And nurses, don't be far behind. Don't be far behind. This install regime needs to be taught a lesson that you're not going to ignore Guyanese public servants and get away with it. You're just not going to do it. Here's a chance to make a profound statement. All right. We're moving. Let's take a quick commercial break. And again, I want to really thank Lemon for coming on here on Saturdays with me. He usually have a lot of little chores and things to do, but he comes on and he assists me behind the scene. So we're going to take a quick commercial break and we're going to be right back.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata Francis E. Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup, and what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by 1 vote, they're losing it by data.
So this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington law firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Small days is still on my mind. Small days is a good time. Remember, some little children. I'm ready to sing and dance and really admire them. Small days is still on my mind. Small days is a good time. Remember, some little children. I'm ready to sing and dance and really admire them. Yes, they're singing. Ching, ching, ching. Playing our mama. See for mama. Get 10 fat chickens. And ask you for one. And she won't give me one. You see that garden? Named Dorothy.
Right, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Let's touch on Ansgrove, Victoria. So the installed president would have came back from Ghana, and I guess he wants to show that he cares about Afro-Guyanese. So he goes down to Ansgrove and Victoria to hear the complaints of the people, of the residents in those areas. Now, first thing I'm going to see, after being in office for 3.5 years, Irfan Ali, if you cared anything about Afro Guyanese, there would be no need for you to be going to Victoria at this time. I know you have to be, knowledgeable, and you have to have the understanding that Victoria was the first village that would have been purchased by our foreparents/ancestors, right? And had you cared about the Afro Guyanese in Guyana, Victoria would have been looking like a city day like today. Instead of that, you neglected it. You followed the instruction of your boss, Barajagdio. Because finally, all you is a puppet. Barajagdio just draw your strings and you do whatever he wants you to do. Right? And Barajagdio never cared for villages like Victoria and Ansgrove and Pleasance and these villages. He's now showing like if he has some interest in Pleasance. That's because we have a few of those in Pleasance. Those Uncle Toms trying to sell out Pleasance. But I know the people are gonna stand up in Pleasance. But let me stay on task here with Victoria. Yeah. Victoria sideline, east and west needs doing. Among other small cross streets in Victoria needs doing. And I just want to highlight the people and let them know that whatever it is that the PPPC is going to do in Victoria, it's not going to be anything special. Okay? Government is responsible for roads and bridges and these kind of things. That's normal procedure. It's nothing special. It's not a gift. It's not, oh, look what the PPPC did for us. It's your hard-earned money that is paid on a fortnight and on a monthly basis for income taxes that is taking care of your bridges and your roads and everything, your running water to the extent you have. Across most villages, water pressure low, water is brown, and we have these massive budgets, right? We have budgets that's through the roof, $1.146 trillion, the 2024 budget. But yet we have unfinished schools. We have unfinished roads, bridges. We have schools that are finished and the roof have holes that are massive that the kids have to shelter in their classrooms with umbrellas. I tell you, it was something looking at that last evening. Our children are forced to shelter in their classrooms, with umbrellas. It's saddening. Finally, I know this. I know you guys are already in campaign mode in the PPPC. But at this point, it doesn't matter what you guys do. Because any normal Guyanese across all 6 ethnic groups will understand that you guys have not addressed any of the issues affecting them. None. This budget here, I would have expected a stimulus package. Nothing. not a thing for the people. So government is not producing jobs, no stimulus package. And listen, if you give a stimulus package, what do you think Guyanese are going to do? Some of them might take a portion and put in their savings account. I know Guyanese. Some of them like to save and have their little thing for a bad day. Some of them, most of them is going to go on a shopping spree because people need things. What does that shopping spree do? Booster your small business, your little mom and pop's business, even some of the larger business, right? Kick up your business economy. So you might be giving something to the people, but in the long run, you're helping yourself because your economy is going to look nice. Those people are going to spend back the money right in Guyana. But listen, to think that way, you have to be at a certain level. And the PPPC is not there. They're not there. Ashley Singh, I'm extremely disappointed in you. Extremely. You should be disappointed in yourself. Because you know a lot that is in this budget is wrong and doesn't favor Guyana or its people in no way or form. But like I said, there is a dictator, a leader that all of you have to get behind and follow. And I got to say this, I got to give it to the PPPC. They all get behind Jack Dion. Whatever Jack Dion says goes. Whatever he says, it goes. I'm going to do a quick crossover to the opposition here for a quick minute. The press conference this morning was needed. Very, very educational. I encourage anyone who did not look at that press conference this morning to go back and take a look and a listen. It was right on Bench Up Radio 107.1 FM. So you can go back. It should be there somewhere in the archives and take a look and listen. Very interesting. I must commend everyone who presented. Well done. As far as the opposition goes, we really need to start being on the ground a bit more. I know Mr. Norton would have called at the last rally and said that there's going to be boots on the ground. I'm not doubting him. I have the expectation and I hope that we will start seeing some boots on the ground. And when I say boots on the ground, I mean boots on the ground as a collective, not in different factions. Oh, I'm promoting this person, I'm behind this person. Let me just be clear here this afternoon. There is a leader of the opposition who was elected. You cannot remove that leader until Congress is held and another leader is elected. In the interim, my expectation is that every member of parliament be respectful, handle their duties, and wait your turn. If you're going to challenge your leadership, do it the right way. Don't try to undermine anybody, because you know what? You may get in. You may get in. But a lot of people, you're not going to get the support of many, because they would have understood that in order to get that position, you operated from under a coconut shell, where you just hid and you undermine the prior leader. So be careful, be smart. I know that you guys are smart. And if you're doing something, you're going to do it the correct way. At least that would be my expectation. So, MPs, get on the ground. Let's go. Elections is really closing in on us. Again, the GCOM apparatus, we need to stay on top of that. Okay, that there is our bread and butter. Okay, elections is still dependable on the human vote. Okay, money does play a role, but essentially the most important thing is the human vote. So if you're looking for the human vote, you have to be on the ground with the people, edifying them. Okay, somebody needed to show up in success. Whether it was my good friend, Miss Annette Ferguson, or whether it was Mr. Daniel Siram, who is the regional chairman of Region 4. All right, you guys can't be on top of things sitting in an office. You guys have to be on top of things on the ground with the people. That's the expectation. That's the expectation. Right? We also need people to get out there with the people of Sophia. So there's a lot of issues that's going on across the country, and we cannot be absent. The opposition cannot be absent, not we, because I'm not a PNC member. I'm not a member of any party. But I'm saying the opposition cannot be absent. They have to be on the ground to hear the plight of the people. So my expectation is to see people on the ground, to see more activity on the ground with our MPs. Also, at the striking on Monday of the teachers, you know, to the extent there's a protest of any kind, the MP should be on the ground. To the extent there is no parliament to give support to our teachers. You know, teachers have went through this for a very, very long time. The teachers and our nurses also. So this is overdue. Let's come out tomorrow in full support of our teachers. We want an educated Guyana. Our teachers need to be made happy. Right? We can't get cost of living that's through the roof, inflation that's through the roof, and we're paying our teachers next to nothing. Some of these teachers are also responsible for putting supplies on the table for their students. Some of them are even responsible for giving lunch to the students from time to time. They have to drive their own cars to go do parent visits, and it's a lot of things. It's a lot. Right? The government need to get with the GTU. Okay, don't get with the teachers. Barry Jagdio, this is not how we do things in Guyana. You're not gonna change policies in Guyana just like that. Oh, we're gonna give you all this amount. No, you should have done that. You should have done that instead of giving that 6.5. You should have done that instead. That when you give that 6.5, that was your opportunity to fully take care of the teachers and put a seal to everything. But you guys always want a thief. And you see, people understand that you guys are stealing now. So everybody's pushing back and saying that they have to get a piece of the pizza pie, which I fully agree with. The pizza is to be shared amongst all Guyanese. Right? We are extracting oil thousands of miles off the coast and all these. But if there's flooding due to that and changes in the ecosystem, if there's erosions, if there's who you think it's facing? All Guyanese. All those floods. where you have serpents swimming in the water and all that stuff, with the people who got to walk through that same water to go to work. You guys are not thinking? And you guys want the country to be gaining from oil revenue and nothing goes to those people. That could never be fair. Any right thinking person would know that the oil that's in the ground belongs to all Guyanese. There's nobody that owns no oil wells. Yes, you guys may have auctioned off some wells to people and stuff like that, but they're supposed to be paying. Guyana is supposed to be receiving a revenue from the oil pump. And that revenue is supposed to go into the NRF. You guys withdraw from the NRF to do all kind of different things. But you cannot make a one-time large withdrawal and give a stimulus package to the people of Guyana. You can't do that. But you can do it for everything else. Big exotic highways and all these things. For who to drive on? Most of the poor people don't have cars. What are their kids going to eat? Highway for lunch, highway for dinner? You guys are a real non-thinking, well, I'm not going to call you a non-thinking government, but you don't think when it comes down to the people of Guyana. You guys are merely transactional in nature. And that is exactly what needs to be stopped. We're closing in on time. But in an upcoming program, I hope to address the judiciary in Guyana that appears to be totally snoring. They are totally out of it. They're all asleep. You know, they're short on judges. Nobody's being appointed. Nothing is happening. You don't see what's happening in Guyana? No proper policy. Just a set of gangsters. Just a set of gangsters. What's the new minister name? Minister of what? It's not housing. Minister in charge of the NDCs, Miss Sonia Parag, who said that she refused to give the numbers that was budgeted for the markets and the NDCs and the regional, probably the minister in charge of regional, whatever. She refused to give a budget for markets, you know, the NDCs. How can you refuse to give numbers? That's lack of transparency. That's being unaccountable to the people. And more so, that shows that you have something to hide. If you ask me, it shows that you're corrupt. Right? It shows that you guys are corrupt. Give us the numbers, you know, so that we can look at those numbers and be able to measure, you know, what is being done and what is not being done. Quickly, the Public Accounts Committee. I think we would have talked on this a couple of times also. The PPPC changed the rules with the Public Accounts Committee. And since the changes in those rules, that committee has not been meeting. Now, that committee is the committee that really breaks down, you know, the allocation, what's going there. They're able to track stuff, like those schools that are building, you know, if there were certain money spent, well, exactly what it was spent for. When this committee is not meeting, it's going to be a major backlog. And, this type of behavior, again, it shows corruption. Because what's going to happen? What's going to happen? The PPPC is now making the big, large heists. They're just taking everything now. If and when they're out of office in 2025, the PAC is going to have all this backed up work. These guys are going to all be gone with the money and everything already. And then the Public Accounts Committee is going to be meeting to discuss things that would have happened 2-3 years back because of such a backlog. So they're very, I wouldn't say smart, but they know exactly what they're doing. That's why I say there need to be some changes in laws where every 2 years, every parliamentarian across the board is audited. And there should be laws holding them to proper practices. Right? And if those laws are infringed upon, there should be penalties. We have to start holding our politicians in Guyana accountable. We need to raise our standards when it comes to politics right across Guyana. We have all type of people sitting in parliament, from pedophiles, alleged pedophiles, right across the board. Right? We have MPs on the other side of the aisle, male MPs that's abusing women from the opposition side of the aisle. We have all kind of things happening in Guyana. I want the people of Guyana to think about all the issues across the board. Think about the housing issue, the bulldozing of people's homes in Moko, Hillfoot. Now they're going to attempt the same thing in Success. And I think they did a big flood out in either Success or LBI earlier in their administration to get people to remove from the land. Talking about we're putting a scheme there and roundabout and all this type of stuff. So what about the normal Guyanese? Don't they exist? Don't they contribute nothing to Guyana and its future? Don't their children matter? That lady with the 6 children, what? Are we going to leave 6 children to punish? The mother matters also. Can't leave her to punish like that. We need to have proper welfare systems in place. The welfare system is not a proper one. There needs to be something that is reviewed. It needs to be reviewed. The monies that they're giving to people, that money needs to go up tremendously because it's just not enough in this economy that Guyanese are dealt right now. It is just not enough. We need to start doing more for our citizens. Every life matters, not just the life of those who are wealthy and rich. Okay? Anybody should be able to get a property at the road or highway front. Those properties should not just be designated to rich people and people who have money. That's not being fair. I close the program tonight by saying, in order for Guyanese to find prosperity in our country, it is mandatory that the PPPC goes quickly. And I really hope that they never see office again. This is a disaster. This is a total disaster. We are talking about an oil economy. We are talking about the fastest growing economy in the world. And look what normal Guyanese have to face. Irfanali, shame on you. Shame on your installed government. Barajag, your time is up. Not gonna say much about you. You've played all your cards. You just get on your press conference now on a weekly basis and make yourself a complete joker. You have deceived the Guyanese people. You never knew anything. You never knew anything. Your skull is dull. You never knew anything. That's why you would have been sitting around for 23 plus 3 years and the country's in the same place that it would have started in. No matter how much you guys try, all of you across the board, there is none of you that can come close, that can even wear the slippers of the late great Lyndon Forbes Sampson Barnum. I want to thank everyone for joining this afternoon, and I look forward to seeing you guys again next Saturday, and hopefully I can have a guest on next Saturday, make the program even more interesting. Down the road, we may have some call-ins. So you guys look forward. We're going to have some real interactive programs coming up. Again, you guys enjoy the remainder of your weekend. Be very safe. And I will see you guys next week on Straight Up.
She fat like a butter, and she mad like a chow. Oh, smallest is still on me mind. Smallest is a good time. Never had some little children. I'm gonna sing and dance, that's really admire them.
What they're singing?
On your carpet, you must be like the roses, all you need, bright and shining. You must be, and show me the one, love the best. When I marry, I give you the ring. First the girl, second the boys. Sunday, Monday, afternoon, we will spend our honeymoon. Oh, smallest is still on my mind. Smallest is a good time. Never had some little children. I'm gonna sing and dance, that's really admire them.
Join the singing.
Old man house on fire, the old man ran away. He ran for the police to get the water, the ugly fire down there. Escalated, shoo, 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 escalated, shoo, shoo, shoo. And now wipes the lady face, the lady wipes the lady face. And she fell down, and she fell down, and she fell in the ocean too. Oh, smallest is still on my mind. Smallest is a good time. Neighbor, something to children. I'm gonna sing